leadership.
Don't let them come and tell you that's a fact. Let's not run from that. Leadership.
It's not all, but we need to pray that Heavenly Father softens their heart. I know much of you.
Your son, you born this swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart not kind. Comes, I say them heart not kind. But
them heart certainly ain't kind. You heard it for yourself. This is coming out of the red group. Right? Why am I playing this and take up businesses? That's my point. That is what we've been saying all the time. The quest to win Linden. The quest to control the municipality of Linden. Of the Linden waterfront project. Linderners are not going to be in control of a lot of things which will bring economic growth to the community. And foster economic growth for themselves. They will simply be pawns. They will simply be workers. And they will watch the wealth of their community expatriated to other parts of this country by the rich friends and cronies of the PPP while they continue to struggle to put bread in the mouth and on the table. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen in any part of this country. That's what I want to point out to you.
Guyanese people who have the money, the Tulsi Prasads, the Gafoors, the others, and they spoke with me. They're willing to come to Linden. We're taking it to a next level now of them meeting with the government. All right? We need to create jobs in Linden on a large scale. Too much of our people are migrating out of Linden, and as they migrate out of Linden, they're taking with them their families. So that Linden has been a ghost town for the longest while. This community needs to breathe a breath of life. And brothers and sisters, we need prayers for this township. Without prayers, we ain't getting nowhere. We need to pray every single day that persons see what our party is doing and they have a change of heart. Words is not all, but we need to pray that Heavenly Father
them heart not kind. But
them heart certainly ain't kind. You heard it for yourself. This is coming out of the red group conclusions. But the evidence is out there. The people who say they have your interest at heart. Y'all remember the movie? Samuel Jackson, I think, was the actor in that.
Recently, then the school, then they born a whole bunch of kids in the school. Now this situation. Saying all that, do we have an I'm in the face minister? I've never heard this person coming out.
Any disciplinary actions being taken against the individual. I know politicians, they say we washing the linen or washing the people's linen in public. Sometimes they're not like we conniving, man. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time with the Buxtonian Kiraki Amsterdam. I'm your host. It is 16 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. Welcome to the program. It is also the 16th day of the 6th month in the 23rd year, right? Yes, it's 16th of June in the year 2023. Let me tell you all something. Officially, my birth anniversary started since the 12th, but I was giving you all a chance to deal with this local government elections and talk about local government elections. But let me tell you something. Nobody ain't gonna bug me celebration now. Y'all know I just celebrate for a whole month plus when it comes to my birth month. And so my birth month starts as of today. 12th of July is my official birthday. I started a couple of days late. But the 12th of July is my birth date or birthday. And you know me, I just celebrate for long. So the celebrations have started. I've now declared the celebrations officially open. Welcome to the program. How you were yesterday, how you are today, how you passed your last night. Yesterday, I know a lot of feelings were hurt. Certainly, those people in Linden in the red group, their feelings got hurt because they're using Pegasus and I used Tower, and so I was able to get a lot of the conversations. Why? A lot of the conversations and hurt some people's feelings and so on. Right? Good. So let's keep that in mind. I know a lot of people's feelings were hurt. I know a lot of people are feeling good also. Good. I want to make a pledge. Well, let me don't make a pledge because I might have to go back on it because you could never predict people's behavior. But the whole story is we've been discussing the PNC for quite a long time now, APNU. For the last week or two, I started that discussion in terms of analyzing the PNC, the APNU, what's wrong over there and so on. And you know what? A lot of people found it uncomfortable. They didn't like it. They say we linen or washing the people's linen in public. Sometimes you just gotta do that. Right? Sometimes you gotta do that. Because when you do that, some people come to themselves and then they start pulling the socks together. As old people say, they start pulling up the socks. Good? So let's hope that the folks over there, the parliamentarians and everybody, support base and leadership of the APNU have started pulling up their socks. So I don't want to talk too much about them in the new week. But today I got to talk a little bit about them. Anyways, I hope you had a good day yesterday. I hope you made some money yesterday. I hope you rested well last night. I see, we live in a sick society, you know. I see allegations of rape being made against a sitting minister of government. Allegations being made against a sitting minister of government. But I usually say things like, you know, unless the citizens are prepared to hold the politicians accountable, a lot of these things are not going to change. Right? A lot of these things are not going to change. The history of this country and political behavior and behavior of politicians. Right? If you were really supposed to go behind the news and you were supposed to do serious research, you will come to realize that a lot of allegations were made against a lot of sitting politicians for rape and sexual misconduct in office. But unlike places like the US, where they take those allegations serious and they dig deep, and as I might say, they go to the wire to get behind the truth of those allegations. In Guyana, the law enforcement agencies are respecter of persons. The law is not supposed to be a respecter of person or persons. But in Guyana, the law is a respecter of person or persons. So you're not going to hear, and I'm saying you're not going to hear, the sex crime unit of the Guyana Police Force launching an investigation into this allegation. I'm betting you're not going to hear anything. Even if you were to hear of any such, you're going to hear that the DPP said they ain't got enough evidence. Right? I'm not pronouncing on the guilt of this person who allegedly raped the young lady. But I'm saying, looking at the history of this country, and how politicians, political actors and activists, and friends of political actors and activists, friends of politicians, have behaved over the years and got away with a slap on the wrist. Sometimes not even a slap. Sometimes they got away scot-free. Right? And if society is to protect its young, the citizens of this country have to stand up for them. The young lady that they accuse of burning the dorms, she has 19 more charges right now. I've seen videos alleging that that was the young lady involved in sexual acts with an adult male. My conclusion is that statutory rape was taking place. But I've not heard the authorities address that particular issue of her being statutorily raped. But she has 90 murder charges. I've told you of several stories that I'm aware of allegations of rape being made against sitting or friends of sitting ministers of government and so on. And instead of the police instituting charges, they basically bully the parents and family into taking compensation. And so our young people, especially our young females, are continuously being taken advantage of. And their predators, the abusers, are walking the streets scot-free. Am I surprised that allegations of rape are made against this sitting minister? No. I'm not. A year or so we had a long discussion about 2-inch. Remember that name? Supposedly an official government business in the within the borders of the U.S. and texting a young lady from his hotel room and trying to get into her crotches, we like to see. The young lady, of course, went public with it, putting on display the image of 2-inch and everything. We didn't hear of any disciplinary actions being taken against the individual. Did you? We didn't hear that. And not so long after, here we are again. Here we are again. Every clock minds its own business, Cecile. But thank you. Here we are again. Allegations are being made against the sitting minister of rape. I want to tell you something. And those people who worked at what I used to call it before, GINA. Those people who worked at GINA, Guyana Information News Agencies under the 23 years of the PPP will tell you. Some of them came across the DPI. Some of them remained on the job and they worked with DPI, Department of Public Information. A couple of them were tasked with what we say covering the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. Right? The Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. And I've heard them tell a lot of stories about the Amerindian females, the young Amerindian ladies, the young Amerindian girls were taken advantage of by representatives of that very Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. You know what is not rocket science? You know what is not news? You know what can be investigated and established? DHARAMLALL worked in that Ministry of Amerindian Affairs for years. He was one of the officers who had to go into those communities to look after the well-being of the Amerindian, our first people, our indigenous people. Find any of them and pull them in a corner and ask them to tell you the stories that they know. And then we will decide whether or not allegations are being made willy-nilly against this individual and others who are friends of the PPP or who are sitting ministers of the PPP. Or it is that we have some serial rapists in offices of government, offices of the state, taking cover on the offices of the state and perpetrating serious crimes against the citizens of this country. Whether male rape or female rape. I'd like some of y'all to investigate that. Years ago, there was a what do you call it? Sexagenarian. Or maybe octogenarian, because he was a big old man. A certain minister of government. When he was accused of impregnating a 14-year-old Amerindian girl. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? We have heard of the abuses in meted out to people by representatives and friends of this PPP government. But are we hearing the other side? Investigations of these allegations and people being made to face the court. It can't be that people are always making certain allegations against a particular person or persons. Can't be. All people saying every lie they got an ounce of truth, so there must be some truth. To some of these allegations which are made. I'm not pronouncing on the guilt of the certain minister of government against who the most recent allegation has been made. But I'm saying that there are a long list of allegations made against such persons in the government of 23 years and in the government now. So y'all make your own conclusion. But all I'm saying, that the women's organization, the human rights organizations, the justice organization, all of the organizations in this country ought to be making a resounding call right now. First and foremost, for that sitting minister to be suspended from duties. And an investigation be opened into the allegations. I listened to the letter read by Mark Benschop, and I dare say, kudos to that young lady, she has her details written down. And I think there are things which you can check. For example, the inbox, messenger inbox. There's not rocket science. Anybody can go. Let her show you the inbox. Show you the message. Show you the date the message came, the time it came. She listed 2 numbers that she was given. Check them out. Are they verifiable? That's all I'm asking. That the young lady's allegations be investigated. But I tell you, knowing the PPP, looking at their track record, that investigation is not going to happen with people just whispering about this allegation. It's not going to happen. Keith Beresford is telling me it's old news 23 years ago. Well, keep apparently not following the conversation. I'm saying that the allegations of rape against sitting members of the government, the PPP government, are not new, because they were happening since the last PPP government was in office for 23 plus years. That's all I'm saying, in case you didn't follow the conversation. It's not new. Those allegations were being made since the PPP were in office. for all of their 23 years, and now they're approaching, what, 26? And even while they were in opposition, opposition allegations were being made. We have to have thorough investigations into these allegations and let the chips fall where they will or where they may. That's what I want to say to you. Well, Agathon is saying that there are precedents. A senior PNC minister was made to resign. And investigations took place. We can't, as a society in this modern era, just brush aside such allegations. Because what a lot of people are doing, what a lot of these folks are doing, is that they're sitting in office, government office, sheltering under the power of the office, and doing wickedness. And they get insulated by their political comrades. And if that is the reason some people want political office, if that is the reason some people want political office, then we have to ensure we get them out of political office. We have to. If they're abusing their authority for any reason whatsoever, then we have to ensure we get them out of the offices, because citizens are not supporting political parties and political aspirants so that they can be abused. Right? That's what we have to understand. There's also precedents that what they do is bring political pressures to bear on the parents and relatives of these children. And given their humble means, a lot of the parents and relatives succumb to these pressures and accept pittances as compensation. But I said it before and I'm repeating it. Whatever arrangement between the parent and the perpetrator is made is a matter for the parent and the perpetrator. The law enforcement agencies have a responsibility to prosecute these matters. Right? Keep that in mind. I don't want to hear who went to whose home. The very people who are saying that the young lady went to the minister's home, and so she must have wanted it. I want to see how they will react when their wife and their daughters go to other people's home and get treated in a similar manner. I would like to see how they will react. It is time we stop making excuses for these beasts, these criminals. It is time we stop making excuses to them. No male, no female has a right to engage anyone sexually without their full consent. But the PPP likes to operate without consent anyhow. Right? So because I'm a visitor to your home, because you invited me to your home, I don't know your intention for inviting me to your home. I thought it's a friendly gesture. I see it as a helping hand because I'm looking to achieve a certain goal. And you have offered assistance, offered guidance. By way of being older than I am, by way of being more experienced than I am, I think in my childish mind that your offers are genuine, and I turn up to your home, and you sexually penetrate me without consent, and some other adult who is supposed to be right thinking, who masquerades as being smart, will tell you or tell me that I'm at fault because I went to his home, y'all give me a chance. Y'all give me a chance. Nevertheless, let's talk, because it's Free Talk Friday. I got a voice note I want to share with y'all from the red team in Linden. After today's program, I hope not to have to deal with the red team again. Like I said, I hope not to have to talk about the PNC anymore, the APNU, after today's program. But let's listen to the red team at war with themselves. But apart from listening to the red team at war with themselves, I want you to listen keenly, because there is some critical information that you will hear, and we'll discuss what I see as this problem in Linden and other communities, predominantly African Guyanese communities.
Leadership is the ability to get things done. Leadership is the ability to organize, to develop, to plan, to execute, to hold people by the arm and say, hey, I want you with me. That is leadership. And to find the right people to be with you. Now, we have an open door policy. Our party is big on being open, because we are preaching and teaching excuse me, and sharing the philosophy of One Guyana. So automatically we will be open up to everyone, despite whatever party you've been in. But brothers and sisters, let's be real. The other comrade who spoke earlier, he is right. We have gambled too much. We have taken people, and this is where we have failed. I said this to our leaders right here in Linden, and I will say this to our leaders even at the party level. I'm so brave and courageous, I'm willing to say this. This doesn't mean that I hate you, but I can't see you doing wrong and telling you you're doing right. We took comrades out of the APNU camp and placed them into leadership roles in our PVP right away. You had people right here in Linden who've been with the party for years and they ain't get nothing. If those comrades from the APNU want to make the crossover, you cannot give them positions of leadership overnight. They have to spend their time of apprenticeship just as what they did in the APNU, so that we can realize their loyalty, their trustworthiness, and they can prove it with time. Look, we took several people and we made them candidates, no name mentioned. We made them candidates. Why did we do that? Because why? We had APNU people following them. We have proven that they did not bring over the bacon. So we got to learn to trust our people that have been with us for years. We've got people who've been with the party for years who can lead if given the chance. We've got Comrade Raul. The man can lead, the brother can lead. He will learn, he will adapt, he will get to understand. Give him a position of leadership. Someone will have to go to make place for him. But that is what happens in a family. We've got Comrade Cumberbatch. He's been around for a very long time. He can lead. The man is like Bharat. He's stern, but yet he's jovial. He understands politics. He understands leadership. Give Cumberbatch a position of leadership. We've got Comrade Matty Sampson. The brother can lead. The brother understands politics. He is a good guy. Give the man a position of leadership. Comrade Sampson knows people. He has a profound understanding of Linden. He was born right here. We've got Comrade Williams, Onika Williams. She has been around for a while too. She and I, we grew up in the PYO. We came through the party, through the youth arm. Give Comrade Onika Williams a position of leadership. All right? We have to let certain people make way so that others can fill that void. And we will progress as a party. But I want us to stay focused on the prize of building people in the capacity of financial gain. I want us to keep our minds focused on that. Because we can rant and rave all we want about politics. At the end of the day, we need to create jobs in Linden, and we need to be centered, we need to be very focused, we need to put most of our attention into job creation. Look, all of us got our work cut out for us. One comrade, he spoke what he'd be doing. Comrade Onika knows what she would be doing. But let's get real. I'm very focused in this regard. I've sent out letters to many Guyanese people who have the money, the Tulsi Prasads, the Gafours, the others, and they spoke with me. They're willing to come to Linden. We're taking it to a next level now of them meeting with the government. All right? We need to create jobs in Linden on a large scale. Too much of our people are migrating out of Linden, and as they migrate out of Linden, they're taking with them their families. So that Linden has been a ghost town for the longest while. This community needs to breathe a breath of life. And brothers and sisters, we need prayers for this township. Without prayers, we ain't getting nowhere. We need to pray every single day that persons see what our party is doing and they have a change of heart. Words is not all, but we need to pray that Heavenly Father softens their heart. I know much of you are not religiously inclined, and hey, I respect that. I respect that. I'm not here to impose, but I'm here to advise. And we've tried everything else. Let's try God. Let's pray to God. How much of us?
Kams audio son. You burn the swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart not kind. Kams, I say them heart not kind. But
them heart certainly ain't kind. You heard it for yourself. This is coming out of the red group. Right? Why am I playing this particular voice note this morning? I'm sure it had some nuggets inside. Had some nuggets. Leadership. You gotta be able to take people's hands and lead them. Guide them, hug them up and say, hey, I'm with you and I'm for you. Yeah, that's a fact. Right, so that's a fact. Let's not run from that. Leadership. That's what leadership is. But leadership is also looking out for your community in a way to ensure that the people in your community enjoy the benefits of the resources in your community. Here is a man who claims to be so concerned about Linden and the prospects of Linden. And who are the people he has contacted? Who are the people he has contacted? Did you hear it? To come into Linden and take up businesses? That's my point. That is what we've been saying all the time. The quest to win Linden, the quest to control the municipality of Linden is not necessarily for the development of the residents of Linden. It is so that they can be in control of the resources of Linden so that they can farm them out to their friends and cronies. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And Linden must not make that mistake. Lindeners must not make that mistake. Citizens of this country must not make that mistake. African Guyanese must not make that mistake. Don't let them come and tell you that outsiders are your saviors. Outsiders are there to plunder. They will be the controllers of your resource. You will be the workers. They will get a hog of it, and you will get pittance. work with people who will work with you to ensure that your resources are used to benefit you in your community. Let history teach you. Let history be your teacher. Let history show you who are the people who have worked with your interests at heart over the years. That's all I want to say to you. This morning I didn't intend to do a lot of talking on these things. I just want to point them out to you, and you ruminate, you think on them. You come to your own conclusions. But the evidence is out there. The people who say they have your interests at heart. With the PPP in control of Linden, or the MTC, whatever you call it, the municipality, Lindeners are not going to be in control of Blue Lake. Lindeners are not going to be in control of the Linden waterfront project. Lindeners are not going to be in control of a lot of things which will bring economic growth to the community and foster economic growth for themselves. They will simply be pawns. They will simply be workers. And they will watch the wealth of their community expatriated to other parts of this country by the rich friends and cronies of the PPP, while they continue to struggle to put bread in the mouth and on the table. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen in any part of this country. That's what I want to point out to you. I want to point out the other thing to you is, leadership. I really like the part where he spoke about what leadership is. Because leadership is important in every fight, every struggle, every movement. And Marie Selby, where you gone? Who sent you somewhere? They heat too much in the kitchen or something? I like the fact that he pointed out his interpretation of leadership. Some people in the coalition can very well take that example of what leadership should be. Holding each other's arm, embracing each other, saying unambiguously, I want you with me. Let us work together. I listened to a brother from the WPA the other night, June 13th, on David Hines, Dr. Hines' program, What Can I? He said one of the things that will always remain with him is Walter Rodney walking up to him, putting his hand around his shoulder and say, brother, we have to struggle this struggle together. Leaders at every tier must recognize the importance of encouraging those who they hope to lead, embracing those who they hope to lead, engaging those who they hope to lead. And so it's very, very important, especially coming out of this local government elections. It is important that those people who are elected to the local area authorities and the municipality councils and so on, whether by proportional representation or by constituency representation, it is important that you embrace each other and say, we have to struggle this struggle together. We have to fight this fight together. I want you alongside me as we fight this fight. It is important that they reach out to the communities which supported them and give that same message of hope and encouragement. But I'm already seeing chinks in the armor. Chinks in the armor. I'll tell you what those are. While others are paying attention to who won what and who won where, I've gone past there and I'm looking at who is being appointed where. Who will be appointed to sit on these councils that were won, especially by the APNU. That's where my concern is. Who is being appointed? And one of the first things that came to my attention is a lot of the old heads, a lot of the persons who have been there for 2 decades, 3 decades, sitting at these councils, in many instances, who are proven to be ineffective against the PPP at these councils, are returning to these councils. That's a sickening thing. That's a sickening thing. I can't recall if you heard it on this tape which I just played. But I know in the Red Group the discussion was the older heads are falling out, they're dropping by, they're dying out, they're retiring. The younger people will replace them at some point in time. And so let us consistently target those young people. I am saying that the local area authorities is a good training ground for a lot of our young people, even in the APNU. Aubrey Norton as a leader has to be smart. At the time when he is getting as we said, ding-dong battle with the old heads in the PNC, he has an opportunity not to sideline the old heads, but to wisely incorporate and encourage the younger folks. Be like the wise prince, sweeten them. Give the young people opportunities to serve on these local area authorities. Groom them so that they can be your support base. And by extension, they themselves will be an example unto other young people as what is possible. And they themselves will be able to encourage young people to become a part of the APNU, a part of the APNU quest. Let us not fall into the old habits of rewarding age. The times when you have to look for efficiency and you have to look down the line. I am aware of a number of situations right now. I'm talking because I hope this will be rectified. I don't know half of these people I'm talking about, but I know of their situations. Why is it we think it is necessary, or even allowable, or even thinkable, for one member of the political party to occupy several offices at the expense of other people who have been hardworking and who are hardworking? Why? Why is it necessary? All the wisdom resides with that individual or those individuals. I think it is foolish. I think it is backward. Even as the results are declared for these local area authorities, and people are being identified to send to these local area councils, the NECs and so on, there are situations where people who are sitting on regional bodies, who have been sitting on regional bodies for the last 3 years, are being identified to sit on a neighborhood democratic council. The regional democratic council is senior and superior to the neighborhood democratic council. Why do you believe it is necessary to have one individual sit at the neighborhood democratic council and at the regional democratic council, where it is you can expose more people to governance by having some sit at the regional democratic council and some sit at the neighborhood democratic council? I think it is foolish. I think it is backward. And I think it is going to be an undoing of this small victory that the APNU achieved over the last weekend. I think it's going to be an undoing. Wiser head must prevail. And people must be honest enough to say to some people, you alone can't have it all. There are other people who are part of this team and they must benefit too. They must be exposed also. A man was sat at the Neighborhood Democratic Council for 20 years. Is given the nod over somebody who has worked hard for the party, has never had the opportunity to sit at the Neighborhood Democratic Council. Why is it that 20-year veteran cannot step aside and say, I will use my experience to groom you? That is leadership. Leadership is preparing the next generation to take over the mantle. But no. People want to be able to say, I've been at this NDC for 40 years, regardless of how little they have achieved. This is not wise leadership. And since the buck stops with Aubrey Norton must be strong enough, wise enough to say to some of these people who want to sit at every single level of governance, it can't happen, it should not happen. There are other people we have to groove, who we have to groom to someday take over from us. And so you must make way for them. I know of a very embarrassing situation developing right now on the east coast of Demerara. I rather suspect that the PNC leadership has word of it already. My only recommendation is that they move quickly and correct it. And I'm sure that there are several other such situations around this country. Give people a fair chance. Give people a chance to grow. It's a dress down world. There are times when people must dress down. The country, the support base, everybody, a whole lot of people are fighting to get Granger to dress down after he gave up power last election. A lot of people have been fighting Aubrey Norton recently for him to dress down. And some of those very people who are fighting and who have fought others to dress down are holding on for dear life. Holding on for dear life. Y'all need to step aside. Give your younger cadre the opportunity to grow. They will have to be the ones to take on the mantle. You want to sit at RDC, you want to sit at NDC at the same time, you want to sit at Central Exec at the same time, you want to be a parliamentarian at the same time. Come on, man. It's a one-person organization. Y'all wake up. Please and thanks, wake up. It's 2 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. It's Free Talk Friday. The lines are open. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. And I tell you, I'll come here with your checkbook this morning because I got some tickets to sell for the dinner and dance. Come on, start placing your orders. You know the price, you know the venue, you know everything about it already. But I will remind you, what is Free Talk Friday? Call live, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Once again, a pleasant good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki, the listeners, and everyone in the diaspora. I listen to the voice note that you play, that the person talk about this guy, Matty Sampson. Matty Sampson used to be, you're going to know who is speaking. He used to be my neighbor in Linden. And Matty Sampson is so dishonest. And when you really check out the PPP track record, this is the people they held under the wings. And when I speak about this incident, Matty Sampson gonna know who is it speaking about him. There used to be a disco, my aunt disco, by the name of Blackface in Linden. And I live at this on the railing of the disco, and Matty Sampson was the only person there. I went into the building to pick up something, and by the time I came out back, that disappeared. And he telling me that he didn't move it. And so help me God, when I was up in the building a morning, I heard the music playing over by them. So I don't know how these guys bring in people like these dishonest guys and say, but they're good to run a tongue and stuff like that. But they say they got an old saying, birds of feather flock together. And this is the kind of people that the PPP got in the camp. And another thing I got to say, Barra Jack Dio. If the PPP doesn't get rid of Barra Jack Dio, there would be no good in Guyana and in that party. So I don't know where all of them get these kind of things that they is good leaders and all kind of thing. They need to sort out these people. And Barra Jack Dio is a rotten egg in the whole of Guyana they need to get rid of him from that party. Put him let him stay in a corner by himself. Anyhow, you continue good works and be good to yourself. Be safe at all times.
Thank you for your call. Call it live, good morning.
Hello, good morning, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is Flash Garden. Good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. Some of that video there is good and some is bad. And let Flash Garden say this to you. You could take the well, you could take the horse to the well, but you can't make him drink water. My leader, Abinadu. Hello?
Caller, we are hearing you.
Yes. Okay. My leader, Abinadu, he do not have a second man side of him. He do it all alone. But he got God. Remember, God gave Moses a second man side of him, Joshua. If I'm right with my King James studying Bible, Abinadu don't have no one. And we must respect that and honor that. There's so much my leader could do, Abinadu. Let me move on. I said yesterday I want to talk about the AFC, and I will do that today. And also, I'm asking you for some time for Monday for talk about some things. I'm giving you an early head up. Okay, AFC is a disaster to black people in Guyana. Why? Jagan's son, I believe was 2011 with that election. He said plain, Chatman, who was part of AFC, he said he's a rat. We all know, well, some of us know what the word rat means. That is Jagan's son say that. I would good move on. AFC believe they could have win Jagdio, but they never could win Jagdio. That made the turn to PNC on a coalition. move on again. That man, Ramdatan, is a snake for PNC. Randalane was right and questioned it. Why he move away this time election? Why he cut out? Because he represented the Indian people and they must live happy more than black people. I'm going to talk it our seat. Because you know, AFC cannot win PPP alone. And I always said on your program, a vote for AFC is a vote for PPPC. I always say that, I'm going to that before I go. I will repeat this again on your program. Sharon Das, what causes big problem to black man? He said plain, when he made a video in his brother basement in Canada. He said, when Ramdatan told him to get the MP job, he tell Ramdatan, no, I can't take that job because I have Canadian citizen. Ramdatan said, don't worry, the fine print for Flash Garden, read it. We are up and jacked, Indian for Indian, take the job. And Sharidas take the job. And look what Sharidas did. Ramdatan went to college and university before Flash Garden. Ramdatan read the Constitution before Flash Garden. He know what the Constitution said. And he still looked to the other side and put his Indian friend and brother in there to damage black people. So when Ramdatan come out and talk nonsense, did Ramdatan ever, I never see Ramdatan put up his finger and say, vote. I say, you went and vote WPA. I see the man of the ring put up his finger, he vote. I see Ramdatan's finger put up his vote. Ramdatan do that because he want the Indian people to enjoy the oil money and to live better than black people. I'm going to talk it or I say it. Don't cut me off 1 more minute. Ramdatan is not to be trusted. A vote, again, for AFC is a vote for PPPC. Why no police never harass Ramdatan? Why no police never ride behind Ramdatan and disturb him? Only Adina them do that nonsense. When Ramdatan go to borders, where he go? To the Indian, his brothers and sisters them. What he thought, we don't know. He never go into a black neighborhood. Also, 95% of his members in AFC is black. He never go to a black neighborhood and keep a meeting or rally. Why? Question that, because Flash Garden questioning that. I'm telling my black brothers and sisters, stop being fooled by Ramdatan. Ramdatan show the black people, he leaders them in the party and the boss. When he said these words, if it left to me, Ramdatan, this Indian man, I will never walk away from AFC, but is the board members. And who is the board members? Majority is who? Black. So he told them and the boss said, in that mean, is your black brother and sister vote for walk away from PNC. Black people, wake up and smell the coffee. It is time for you guys go to Flash Garden University. My name of the university is Look, Listen, Learn, and Then Talk. Let me share this secret with you guys. It is part of your 5 senses, what God bless you with. Look, listen, learn, and then talk. That is all I have to say today. Be careful with AFC. Return back to PNC and WP and WPA. They got our back to the end of the day. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend to all my black brothers and sisters. Help is on the way. Goodbye.
Thank you for your call. Right, so let's take care of business. The birth anniversary and the anniversary of Kams TV. The dinner and dance will take place on the 15th. Yes, July 15th. Dinner time is 18 hours. Dinner time is 18 hours. And the cost is $10,000. $50 per ticket. That includes 3-course dinner and beverage. Right? Of course, there will be a cash bar, a well-stocked cash bar. For those of you who want to imbibe more than your cover price allows you, there will be a well-stocked cash bar. So, let's start buying those tickets now. I'm waiting. Make your ticket orders. I think Wanda was calling just now. I didn't answer her call. Anyhow, the lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. Let's celebrate, because you know after celebration is hard work. We always do that. We work hard year round. And that is why I take my time and I celebrate my anniversaries, my birth anniversary. I start celebrating the month before the actual time and so on. Likewise, it's Kams TV's 3rd year. And so we have a right to celebrate. We have had many victories along the way. And so let's celebrate them together on the 15th of July. Tickets, $10,000. All-inclusive thing that. Call A Live, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, everybody. Now coming back to the revelation of that little girl. We could remember going back, I think it was last year, when the same individual, the perpetrator of the act, was trying to lure a young woman all the way from across the ocean back to Guyana for his sexual exploits. Now, when we listen to what the ordeal of that little girl, you do not have to imagine what he does to his wife in the
Rhonda,
Okay,
you must stay away from these personal matters. You ain't got no right in the man's bedroom whether or not he's accused of rape.
All right, anyway. Now when Kadaki, a leopard don't run from its stripes. Does always keep the stripe. And wherever you put out, that may tell who you are. Now coming back to this man who was talking about things in Linden. I could remember going back to 1992 when Jagon was running for the country. And when he went to Linden, when the people asked him what he think, he said, excuse me, down with bauxite, up with sugar, up with rice. At the time, bauxite was our main that used to sustain us, mostly the sales of bauxite to outside. And he crippled the bauxite company because a lot of African peoples were in the bauxite company. And he upped sugar and he upped rice that could not have sustained the growth of the country. And when someone in the group said, when the rice failed and the sugar failed, because people with sense started to see where sugar was going after the big strike, he said drugs will do it. Now this person on that thing, and I'm glad for the Pegasus, I tell you, Pegasus is good and bad, not for only certain people. It is every people that it comes in contact with. All right, we're going to hear everybody's business. Now, the same person now is going to say that we will bring jobs. What jobs will they bring? And the names that they call, when they go there, they will be looking for their own financial gains. And I am glad that things like this could be made public. And I am glad again for people like you. I don't want to go to the thing, but all these social media outlets where we can get credible and audible news. Now coming to the election. I think it is time that GECOM disband and get a new organization, because a local government election where they tried to set it on Motorola, they had to think about 35,000 votes, I think, were being cast because the
sun rises slowly over the hills. Everywhere is gold and sunlight, but still, most nights with hotels are crowded. There are days where dark clouds are shrouded. They don't smile and they never will. Only volunteers get the fill. Empty promises is what they hear. No running water from year to year. No one desire that if there is a Messiah, someday he'd hear their whispered prayer. Covered always bare and scanty, 10 people in a one-bedroom shanty, forced to sell on the pavement, no vacancy, no employment, cattle fire cracker from gunshot, blood dust flow when things get hot, afraid to look out the window. Your voices from the ghetto, crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, crying, voices from the ghetto, crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, voices from the ghetto. Help us, Father.
Help me share the program. Help me share the program. Let's talk to 1 million people this morning.
And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher eyeing she daughter. Son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for the peer named Brad Boys. No bail. That's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but don't draw she no circle. Where will it all end? Only time could tell. Outside the siren keep howling, inside your belly will growling. Police raid very often, Simpson measuring a coffin. One night in bed you're sleeping, next night is a wake that you're keeping. So you're praying to win the lotto, not to hear voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 voices from the ghetto. Crying, Lord, crying, hear them pleading. Crying, voices from the ghetto. We are not a forgotten people. Yo, with dented pride, they soldier on. Revolutions, fake politicians born, and often their tragic story brings a journalist's glory. No wonder they view the world with scorn. From since the day they're born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws. But
Share the program. Use your WhatsApp and share the program. Use your messenger and share the program. Share it wherever you can. That's DHARAMLALL. This morning's program is dedicated to DHARAMLALL.
Big men run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. Young thugs, they're tough, protecting almost every young girl expecting. So tomorrow, next in a borough, there'll be another voice from the ghetto. Crying, Lord, crying, crying. Voices from the ghetto. Social amenities, Lord, heaven knows.
Share up.
Opportunities are them always close. Can't get what once said white collar. So if you can't stretch your dollar, it's later for you crackers to fight. You're short of dead from the gripe. Life does wait dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. Till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Children to life keep on drifting. It's something they're smoking or sniffing. Maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to their rescue except Cable Ton and Boujou. So they're boomboxes wherever. Drum out voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 Lord, crying. Voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto. Crying. I was born and bred in the ghetto. I know what I talk about, you know. I'm from the ghetto.
Good morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by the Buxtonian Kidaki Amsterdam. I'm your host. Share the live. Share the live. Share. However you could share, you share it. Share it by WhatsApp. Share it by Facebook. Share it by Messenger. Share it however you can share it. Share it by regular text messaging. Copy the link and share it. Morning, welcome to the program. This morning, I don't intend to do too much talking, but I know I'm gonna got a lot to say, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't want to do too much talking. I think I've lined up some appropriate music to do the talking for me, because I'll tell you seriously, this thing is emotional. Thank you very much to all those of you who sent me Father's Day greetings yesterday. If I didn't respond, I'm sorry that I didn't respond, but I tried to respond to all of them. Especially those that came into my WhatsApp. I did say, and I continue to say, if you want me to respond to anything that you sent with urgency, please send it to my WhatsApp. Messenger is crazy for me. I rarely ever go on Messenger because it's crazy. There are about 4 messengers interconnected, and so the madness to start out messages over there. So I'm begging you to do that for me. I hope you treated your man well. Not to say your man, right? Your child father, your baby father, your husband, your spouse, whatever you want to call him. I hope the fathers in your life, your uncles and your nephews and so on, I hope the fathers in your lives were treated well yesterday, because we need them, I don't care how strong a woman is. The presence of a man in a child's life makes a whole lot of difference, right? Even if that man is there not contributing financially, his presence makes a difference. I can tell you that. I'll tell you, I always talk about socialization. Socialization is the responsibility of families. And so what our male children perform in society for the most part is what they see their fathers perform. Right? It is dependent on how they are guided by their fathers. We say, chivalry is dead. You don't have young men opening car doors and so on for women and giving them the coat to step on when it rains and so on and so forth. It is not that chivalry is dead. It is that males are failing to impart the morals and norms of society to their younger generation. The women could come in for the condemnation too. A lot of women are not demanding standards. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about male and the impact of a man in the home and a man around. Right? They're saying that there are sometimes men in the home and sometimes they're men of the home. Right? So you have to decide which way you're going to be. But the reality is, our men have a lot of influence on our children, especially boys. Especially boys. And so it doesn't strike me as strange this morning when I am told that the allegations that are made against a sitting minister of government are allegations similar to those which were made against his male role model, or who I assume would have been his role model. Right? Y'all got to read in between the lines sometimes. Sometimes I don't say everything. But children look at their fathers as their heroes. And so the examples we set as fathers are the consequences, quite frankly, that society will have to deal with. Might I remind you that this is not a calling time for the program. Right? But let's stop. Why did I open up with singing Sandra, Voices of the Ghetto? Because singing Sandra, through her song Voices of the Ghetto, has identified what a lot of people go through because of poverty. You're poor, you want to go out there, you want to find a job to help out the situation at home. People recognize your disadvantaged state and they want to take advantage of that. According to Sandra, they want to put you in all kinds of positions except a job position. And when you agree or you've gone through all of those positions, you still don't know if you can get a job position. I want you to recognize something. The people identified in that song for the greater part are members of the moneyed class, members of the rich, the big, the people who got access to money and resources. And the access to money and resources is what is used to further disadvantage citizens of this and every society. Understand that. I don't want you to run away from that. Because for the greater part, when you listen to allegations of rape being made against people and nothing coming out of it, you come to understand that nothing is coming out of it because the people the allegations are made of have resources to make those allegations disappear. They got money. And they got reach, they got contacts. And they use their money and their contacts to make those allegations disappear. Listen, right now we are talking about an allegation against a sitting minister of government, DHARAMLALL, based on allegations made by a then 50-year-old, she's now 16, that he raped her while she was yet a minor. "19 pages of documentation, plus screenshots of text messages, etc. But within 48 hours, that young lady was made to recant her story. Don't let us get ahead of ourselves. That young lady was made to recant her story. A statement was written. And those who examine the statement will tell you that despite the brilliance of the young lady in her documentation of the incidents, that statement of disclaimer was not written by her. Look at the language. But as time went by, what did we learn? That statement was bought for $10 million. I'm understanding the $10 million was paid in two parts. $5 million, 50% down and 50% come later. Money was used to hush her up. I say, like I said, don't let us get ahead of ourselves. Money was used to shut her down. Her father, her mother, maybe other relatives participated in that negotiation for $10 million. It is alleged that Priya Manichan, who says she has responsibility for all learners, suddenly she woke up and realized she has responsibility for all learners. She did not take that responsibility when the dorms were burnt and 19 Amerindian girls were killed by fire. She didn't take that responsibility. But in this instance, in the instance of allegations of rape being made against DHARAMLALL, Priya woke up and realized she has responsibility for her learners. What did she do? She used the resources of the state, allegedly. Education officers, to reach out to the young lady and her family, to set up meeting so that they can create a pathway for DHARAMLALL, allegedly, to pay $10 million to shut the young lady down. Right? The moneyed class. I want us to keep our eyes on the moneyed class. I want us to recognize how the state's resources are being used against poor people in this country by this government. And it is not only members of the government that are doing this. Let me give you a long list. Well, it might be short. Let me give you a list of rape allegations in recent times where hush money was paid, or nothing simply came out of the matter. Let us start with the senior policeman who had Soku. Can you remember that sexual misconduct allegations were made, and it was recommended that that policeman be charged criminally? Do you remember that? Nothing came out of that. I understand that there are allegations currently against a senior member of staff or senior operative of Gaffur's. Nothing has come out of that. I understand that there are rape allegations, at least statutory rape allegations, against a well-known member of the Amerindian community, former member of the Tushou Council, former Tushou. Nothing is coming out of that. There have been several allegations of sexual misconduct against DHARAMLALL. The last known, or the previously known, was the young lady from the United States, which is alleged he sent photos of a penis to, and you have the whole conversation was on social media. I discussed it in this program. Right? So, there are a long list of allegations of sexual misconduct. Don't let us go into the allegations against the one that is in the office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for NCN. And I want to say this to you. I hinted it last week and I'm saying it again this week. In the previous PPP government, Nigel DHARAMLALL functioned in the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, I think, as permanent secretary. And so I'm challenging the authorities not to only focus on this recent allegation by this young lady, but I'm saying let them dig deep, and they may very well find a trail of sexual misconduct by this individual. They may very well find a trail. I see one of the viewers this morning said she was informed that there are more than 30 allegations against this individual. Right? And the question therefore is, why is this individual still in the seat of government, in the corridors of power, with access to the nation's children, especially the Amerindians, the First People, as they say, the indigenous community? Why is this man still in the corridors of power with access to the children of the indigenous community? People were asking the other day why Schumann has not made a statement, and why this person has not made a statement, and why that person has not made a statement. Well, I will tell you why they have not made statements. Because similar allegations have been made against a lot of them who you are asking to make statements. So it's a situation of birds of a feather. And since it is a situation of birds of a feather, I won't talk against you because you know things against me. In the details revealed by the young lady, she said what? Schumann cautioned them and told them to beware of Nigel DHARAMLALL. I wonder if anybody has ever cautioned them and told them to be aware of Schumann and others in the corridors of power. I wonder. Because what is clear in this society is that once you're in the corridors of power, you can do people as you like when you like. And you won't have to face one day in court. They say that DHARAMLALL has proceeded on administrative leave at his own request. The fat guy sitting in the seat of president did not send him on administrative leave, but rather I heard a recording with the fat guy telling Gordon Mosley, let them report it to the police station. That's not leadership. That's not protecting our children. That is just following the ideology of the PPP, which is always when accusations are made against their operatives, bring the evidence. When we get the evidence, we will deal with it. But the fact is, follow the timeline. Nigel DHARAMLALL requested administrative leave after it was alleged that he already paid $10 million to silence the victim and her family. And so asking for administrative leave so that an investigation can proceed after you have paid the family to silence them is just trying to pull wool over people's eyes, because the possibility is they will not come forward to give a statement, and so there will be no complainant, and so the investigation will say enough evidence was not available to determine guilt or innocence of DHARAMLALL. Money is being used against the poor people to do them as you like. But this problem that is highlighted with DHARAMLALL is a bigger problem in our society. It's called rape culture, and it's accepted by many in our society. It is glorified by many in our society. I have a 2-minute video I want you to look so you will understand what rape culture is. And so when you see it happening before your eyes, you will identify it. But before I go there, I want to issue a call this morning, and I'm saying all of the victims or the alleged victims of rape by representatives of any government, also representatives of the PPP of 23 years plus, I'm encouraging you, step forward. Become part of the Me Too movement in Guyana. The Me Too movement in the US started with a simple allegation of rape. And then it took on what they call a snowball effect. More and more allegations started to surface against that individual. I am saying to Guyanese citizens, if you were interfered with, if you believe you were raped, if you think you were sexually victimized by this and other individuals of the government, step forward and make it known. Step forward and make it known. Let's hear about rape culture.
It's in movies, in video games, in fashion, and in music.
Put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it.
Rape culture is all around us. But what is it? Rape culture is the normalization of sexual violence against women. You see it in society's attitudes and institutions. It's the trivialization of rape that makes people ignore it, joke about it.
I replaced her pepper spray with silly string. Anyway, that night she got raped.
Or think it only happens in dark alleys. A recent example? In response to rape charges brought against him, singer CeeLo Green tweeted, "Women who have really been raped, remember," then deleted it. Actually, CeeLo, raping someone while they're unconscious is still rape, as is any sex without consent. And unfortunately, it's far more common than you might think.
Stop fighting it, just give into it. I don't know why I'm quoting a rapist.
In the United States, nearly 1 in 5 women have reported being raped at some time in their lives. But the consequences of rape culture are probably worse than we know. Only 40% of rapes even get reported. Only 10% ever lead to an arrest. And out of every 100 rapes, only 3 rapists will ever spend a single day in prison. That leniency is a big part of rape culture. Across U.S. college campuses, the story isn't too different. 1 in 5 women is sexually assaulted. Again, it often goes unpunished. Columbia University student Emma Solkowicz, who says she was raped in her dorm, kicked off this school year with a powerful protest.
I will be carrying this dorm room mattress with me everywhere I go for as long as I attend the same school as my rapist.
Campus sexual assault is so rampant that the White House has even assembled a task force to deal with it. But that's not all the government has on its hands. Sexual assault in the military is even more widespread. 1 in 3 women is assaulted by a fellow service member, and 62% of women who reported their assaults suffered retaliations. Victim blaming is a big part of rape culture. That means faulting the girl for what she wore, what she drank, and how she acted, instead of blaming the actual rapist. In 2012 in Steubenville, Ohio, 2 high school football players raped a 16-year-old girl who had passed out after drinking too much. But in this tight-knit town that loves its football, it was the victim that received a lot of the blame, while the football players received sympathy. And though they were convicted and served jail time, one is already back on the team. What does that tell you? Rape culture means images of objectification and violence against women are so common, we're practically desensitized to them. So how can we build a culture of respect and consent instead? Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook.
Rick wants to know if I know the meaning of allegation. Yes, Rick, I also know how to spell it. Because you don't know how to spell it. But I know to spell it and I know the meaning. But that's not the point of discussion this morning. The point of discussion is that rape culture is present and it's accepted in the corridors of power in this country. And when I say corridors of power, I'm talking about the moneyed class. A lot of them are in government, but many of them are in private sector also. Y'all remember years ago there was a story with a certain businessman on Kams Street and a 14-year-old. The same businessman had a chop bone and gave a black brother who was working as security. He is a part of the moneyed class, and he too is a part of the problem. There are lots more.
Love to fool around the young girls them. Anyone you see said you feel run them. We talk one all about the place. Dirty this around the place. Too much young girl I carry belly. Rasta said that not funny. Leave the young girls them alone. As a big man you living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mother. Leave the young girls them alone. As a big man you're living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mother. What would I answer? How can you have the heart to have a schoolgirl in bed and feel like everything's alright? And some of them under them make money and bribe to their suffering, living in a house of pain. Miss Sama, know you get so bright. Oh, you feel pick your foot and in a right. And you then feel locked up in a prison, yeah. You mashing up the young girls, them lives. Enough man, I raise them little daughter. And you shouldn't have the privilege to so free road, yeah. In Babylon, them not set the order. Man and man, I got taking them further. Leave the young girls, them alone. Leave them alone. As a big man, you're living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mama. Leave the young girls, them alone. Leave them alone. As a big man, you're living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mama. Oh, you feel sir? When there's so many beautiful women in this world for me. Oh, don't you see? You made everything so right. You never make it feel your lips up. You brightly come talk about us so it go. Oh no, oh no. Brand new. I tell you what, not for every report about it for 1 cent. You know how we rebel, yeah.
Leave the young girls them alone. Real quick wants to know what's wrong with innocent until proven guilty. Well, let me say something. I've already made up my mind. Rick, I've made up my mind. If you want, and if you really believe in innocence until proven guilty, I challenge you. Leave one of your young female family members in the care of DHARAMLALL. and any other who those allegations have been made against. I challenge you to do that. Because until it affects some of you, until it gets closest to some of you, you're going to continue with this nonsense and continue to protect pedophiles and miscreants in the corridors of power. And I have no apology for saying that. I have a daughter. I have a son. I have nieces and nephews. And so I'm not going to say I wish. Some of the things that this man is accused of doing to other people's children fall upon yours. Because they say when you dig in a hole, dig for two. I don't want to dig no hole for nobody. But until some of y'all feel it, y'all ain't going to recognize and accept it. I want you to listen. I'm going to play a clip. I'm playing a clip here from Mudwater. And I want y'all to listen carefully to Mudwater clip. Because there are some nuggets in there. For example, listen out to him talking about the one who was made pregnant and beaten. I want y'all to listen to it.
So you can get updates from this channel. Now, let me bite into this story with Minister Mushroom. A while back, there were some leaked screenshots circulating of a conversation between him and a little thing he was planning to hook up with during an official trip to New York. A part of the exchange between him and the young lady was his mushroom. If you're a member of the underworld, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, as much as this story was scandalous and we had a good laugh, we didn't follow it up because quite frankly, it was nobody's business. But we started keeping a closer eye on Minister Mushroom. A little while after that incident, he told an opposition member of parliament during his speech that she needed a dildo.
Then you gotta get a dildo. That's what you're looking for.
Despite widespread condemnation for this comment, there was no reprimand for Minister Mushroom. Moving on to a little while after that, we received reports that he impregnated an underage girl from an indigenous community, then assaulted her after she initially refused to have an abortion. In the midst of us trying to ascertain whether these allegations were true, the folks suddenly went silent. It was rumored that they received hush money. Now you would like to think that the bucket bent and the story end, but hear this new piece of stunt here.
A 16-year-old schoolgirl in an open letter to the president has alleged being groomed, preyed upon, and sexually assaulted by the Minister of Local Government, Nigel DHARAMLALL. News source made repeated efforts to get a comment from the minister today. Both of his known numbers went to voicemail on several occasions. There are reports that the president and the Minister of Education have both been made aware of the allegations. A senior education official reached out to the girl today to set up a meeting with the education minister, news source has learned. In the letter which was seen by news source, the teenager detailed being allegedly contacted by the Minister of Local Government via WhatsApp and Facebook, and conversations taking place between the two. She also detailed meetings that allegedly took place at the minister's office, and financial gifts being thrown at her by him. She also detailed being taken to the home of the minister and allegedly being forced to perform sexual acts by him and eventually being allegedly sexually assaulted by him. In the letter she said she was raped and left feeling broken after the alleged incident at the home back in December. The teenager attached various messages from her phone and social media accounts that were allegedly sent to her by the minister. She complained of being hounded down by him repeatedly with phone calls and messages. She also said that before the alleged sexual assault, herself and other teenage girls had been warned by two other government officials about him. In a statement, President Irfan said while he has seen the reports of the allegations, he has not received any formal complaint. However, he noted that any complaint will be fully investigated by the relevant authorities.
But I've seen the posts on Facebook and everything. Okay. And as I said to Newsroom, my position on these matters are very clear. I don't condone or tolerate any behavior like that. And once any facts is established, anyone found guilty of any misconduct will be held accountable.
But having seen the allegations, sir, even if a report is not made, do you intend to ask the minister to step aside to allow for a proper investigation to be done?
No, but mostly, once, that's what I'm saying, once the fact is established and a report is made, then I'll have to take the necessary action. But as of now, what I have is the post that everybody have.
Minister Mushroom is back on the front burner. I must say, this young lady reached out to us a while back before this story broke out. She detailed her encounters with Minister Mushroom, which suggests a textbook case of grooming and sexual assault. He even destroyed her Bamsi pleats. According to her, we were debating internally how to move forward with this story, which is sensitive due to her age. Then, Bucks, an open letter is published to the president. The young lady said that one of the women she confided in issued that letter against her wishes. Then I saw a Facebook post that suggests that she might have collected a bag, just like the one who got impregnated and beaten, allegedly. We have her on record telling her story, but it is not our place to force the issue. If she got paid off and does not want to pursue justice, it's her BT Fleet's mother's cunt, not mine. Let's debate in the comments. Do you think this matter is worth investigation, or do you think all the allegations against Minister Mushroom are baseless? Also,
I want to say this. In fact, I might want to finish.
Why do you think the president is waiting for an official complaint before he takes action? Is there any avenue for persons who are assaulted by government officials to get justice? Which police will investigate? Let me know in the comments and let's keep the conversation open. By the way, there's also another leaked conversation with another minister who sent his baby mushroom, if that's trending in the underworld. We're going to call him Minister Baby Mushroom from now on. If you're interested in joining the underworld tech ups, use the link in the description. GuyanaUncut.com. My name is Mudwater. Boom out!
Hold up.
Yes! Let me say this. Rape happens in the Guyana police force. It's covered up. Rape happens in the Guyana defense force. It's covered up. Rape happens by friends or big ones in power. It's covered up. Sickening enough. But what is more sickening is when the people that you expect to defend you allow their silence to be bought. When the people you expect to defend you allow their silence to be bought. And this morning I want to call out the father and the mother of this child, because I see them as nothing else but our pimps. I see them as nothing else but our pimps. And they are part of the problem. Because this child was bold enough to make her statements and make them public. If you listen to Mudwater, they had it before it even went public. But yet Ali says he has never seen the letter. Let me ask this question. Why Ali did not see the letter? Is it because the letter got into the hands of somebody who sought to protect DHARAMLALL from these allegations? Or is it Ali is saying he did not see the letter because he failed to act on it in a timely manner and he is therefore covering his ass? There must be a reason for him not seeing the letter, because the young lady said she sent it to all of these varying places. The law must take its course. Anybody who takes money to participate in this cover-up or cover-up of these allegations must be made to face the court for the perversion of the course of justice. And I'm saying this morning, quite frankly, our mother and father and anybody else who sat around that table to negotiate $10 million must be dragged before the court and made to explain their behavior and let them face their consequences. I read the letter. I read the notes. It's right here. I have it. One of the things she said is, y'all lend me a helping hand before I did. Don't wait until I die to address this issue. And so our parents will come to realize at some point in time that $10 million cannot buy their daughter's dignity. $10 million cannot buy their daughter's sanity after what she alleged that she has gone through. And $10 million certainly can't buy back a child. Because if she doesn't come to a point of believing that she was treated fairly in this instance, it's likely that she's going to go to the extreme. She said, y'all help before I die. I'm paraphrasing. Help before I die. I'm understanding this morning that certain courses of actions have been taken. We're going to talk about them just now. But like I tell you, I ain't really want to talk too much. I'm playing some music for y'all getting messages. Fathers are expected to protect their children, and more importantly, their daughters. In that letter, the young lady said when she told the minister, she alleged when she told the minister that her mother was going to be going to his office or wherever to meet him to collect something. He said, oh, my mother-in-law is coming. And her next words in that missive was, mother-in-law. DHARAMLALL is 50-something or whatever his age. My parents are X and Y age. In short, she was saying, this man is even older than my parents. This man is even older than my parents. And therefore, this man should have been in a position of my parents protecting me. But instead, it is alleged that he violated that trust. He violated that trust allegedly.
Stop it, Daddy. Daddy, stop it now. I'm going to tell on you now. Oh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me, and it's evident that something must be wrong with me. I'm not as happy as I seem to be. The long showers I take don't wash away the memories. Why do I have to face these tragedies? We go through struggles in life, on my way, but to have my daddy touching me, that's just not fair. Stopping from destroying my future. Believe me, he's behaving like a creature. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. To all your mothers out there, give a listening ear. Pay attention even if the man a pastor. You have to make sure before you trust him with your daughter. Plus him will even try to take your son as brother. Watch it, make me don't keep with some dirty water. You can't hide no more now, you have to meet your karma. If you know say it's a go on and turn a blind eye, then your judgments are go pile up out a mile high. Get suicidal if you think it's a go save you, because me sure say you're not gonna get fishy the savior. Me just can't find a name for your behavior. It's a lucky thing we got a nosy neighbor. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. When you feel like giving up, just shake it off and live it up. The most I will deliver you. Can't jump the rope if you not try. So wipe the tears there from your eye. Get the wings of confidence to make you fly. Tribulations are just to make you stronger. Love yourself and it will help you forget over. Any place where hurt a little youth will never prosper. I'm passing on the message from the master. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me, and it's evident that something must be wrong with me. I'm not as happy as I seem to be. The long showers I take don't wash away the memories. Why do I have to face these tragedies? We go through struggles in life. I'm aware what to have my daddy touching me. That's just not fair. Stopping from destroying my future. Believe me, he's behaving like a creature. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me.
Sometimes I wanna die. It seems like no one cares for me. The young lady said she's disappointed in her parents because the people that she should have looked at for protection and the people who should have stood up for her saw her as a bank book. They saw her as a checkbook. They saw her as their avenue out of poverty. I can't see it any other way. As I can't see them as anything but pimps and hustlers. And like I said, all those who facilitated this meeting, this alleged meeting for this payment arrangement, must be made to face the law. Because until we start doing that, we are going to continue to have these problems in our society. You know, I sent that entire, all the details of that alleged incident to my daughter. A 16-year-old, she's just about the same age as this young lady. As a matter of fact, they just all completed writing CXC. And I asked her for the lessons. And one of the most striking things she said to me is, don't trust government officials. Among other things, something bothering you, talk to somebody, but among other things, don't trust government officials. I am saying this morning, I usually say there's no free meal. And so when these people come and they extend a helping hand to our children and our family, our relatives, we have to step back. Step back. And take a good look at them and analyze from all angles. But the young lady said she alleges the man is good at his craft because when she was taking precautionary measures based on what she heard, he was able to deceive her to cause her to drop her guards because he came across as such a loving and nice person. When her mother went to the ministry, served her. Which minister serves the visiting public, etc., etc. And so she dropped her guards and she became more trusting of him. And she thought that by taking her brother, her little brother with her to see him when he requested that she goes for whatever assistance in keeping with the arrangements of pageant and whatever, she thought the presence of her little brother would have protected her. Not to be. I see somebody is asking or wondering what's the relationship of this minister with his immediate family, his wife and children. The authorities ought to investigate that. We have had precedent. A man named Bart Jagdeo, they say he married a woman named Vashni. And several years after Vashni came out and say she detailed all the abuses. There's precedent. There are no ministers of the PPP government that have been accused of abusing their spouses. As a matter of fact, one of them is alleged to have caused one of his spouse to commit suicide. I'm repeating the call again. If you are a victim, of any of this kind of behavior, especially by these people in power, private and public sector, and their friends, if your relatives, say something to someone, become a part of the Me Too movement in Guyana. I'm sure they gotta get a Me Too movement in Guyana. It ain't got a name, Me Too movement. But all I'm saying is, all those people who have been so interfered with must come forward. I'll tell you all the story just now. I know of a former member staff of the University of Guyana who masquerades in this society as a tower of virtue, who several such allegations of sex degrade and coercion for sex have been made against. And you know what just dawned on me? The allegations that have been made are not just made by the ordinary, as we would say, poor people in this country, but members of the middle class have had to go through that. But because they're middle class, they usually don't talk because what? Perception and image. But rape in this society is a very, very serious issue. And if this young lady has to be the one to break the back of this wicked and nasty behavior, so let it be. I congratulate her for her strength. Because she did say in her letter, if that is what she has to be known for, let her be known for it, but at least she would be known as standing up for girls, especially her indigenous sisters. Right? Standing up, especially for her indigenous sisters. But while she is willing to stand up, her parents and those who are supposed to be protecting her are taking hush money. All of them is a set of dirty people. All of them is a set of dirty people. I'm told this morning, I read this morning, that the Child Care and Protection Agency has stepped in. They have allowed an organization to interview that young lady. They have her statements, and the statements are in keeping with the very statements that they said the young lady disclaimed at some point in time after the alleged $10 million paid. They're saying the statements that she made to this agency that interviewed her are consistent with that earlier statement. She is now in the care, protective custody of the Child Care and Protection Services, or whatever they call them. We are waiting to hear about the arrest of this alleged perpetrator, this alleged rapist. We are waiting to hear about the arrest. We don't want to hear about a COI because there's no provision for COI in rape in this country. If you're accused of rape, you are immediately arrested. First and foremost, to protect the victim from being tampered with. But you have allowed the victim to be tampered with allegedly through this meeting that allegedly was arranged with Priya Manichan or through the Priya Manichan ministry. And an alleged bribe of $10 million paid. Or some people might call them compensation. Whatever. The next logical step is for this alleged rapist to be arrested. And I'm waiting for that. We must wait for that. In fact, we must not wait. We must demand that it happens. Y'all don't tell me y'all waiting for churches and politicians to make comments. And what I call them, civil society to make comments. A lot of them got so much in their closets they dare not open them out. Because they might say the wrong things.
Say no make them take advantage of you. Nah, 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 yeah. Young girl going to school, yeah. No follow nobody. Cause that man will call you sexy could be twice your daddy. Man, no time rough like Greta. Plus them mama don't have it. Please me, I beg you, no make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, you dirty man.
Let me stick a pin. Because it just dawned on me. DHARAMLALL was able to be in contact with this young lady as a result of a pageant. Everybody is entitled to their own way. Like I say, whatever floats your boat. The amount of allegations that have been made against people who have been hosting pageantry in this country over the years. Starting from way back when. I've heard the stories, the number of allegations that have been made against people who are hosting or have hosted pageantry in this country. If we were to investigate, and I dare say we ought to investigate those allegations, you will be surprised again that a lot of people in the corridors of power and connection to the corridors of power are involved in this nastiness. Parents, don't let your children parade their innocence in front of nobody in the name of entertainment. Because a lot of them who sponsor girls to take part in these pageantries, they are grooming them, like the young lady said. They're enticing them with their sponsorship. Don't fall trap. Your children don't need anybody's blessing to recognize their beauty internally and externally. You as their parents are in a good enough position to strengthen them character-wise. Don't let you picnic them parade in swimsuit and evening dress and whatever for these wicked and demonic minds to cast their eyes on them. Don't. I usually tell people, one of the things I hate is to see children, especially female children, allowed to run around the home and run around the yard half naked and unclothed and so on. You have so many sick people in the society that sit and look at your children as they grow and scheme and calculate their age and wait for them to reach that certain age before they prey on them. Keep that in mind. Keep your children covered. Keep your children close to you. Don't keep them out of your sight. Protect them from the predators in this society. Some people might say, but the children have a right to self-expression and so on. Yes, that's true. But we have a responsibility to protect them from the destruction of their innocence. Especially knowing that you got the likes of these in the corridors of power. Dirty men!
Leave the people beneath them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man.
Just a waste man. Oh yeah.
Hey, mommy, I feel listen to your daughter. Cause she tell her she not happy. You see the signs and turn a blind eye. Me, I beg you to stop it. Cause that man where you ever come check you. When you let him tell a story. You left a young girl all alone. Not take your daughter, sell her to no
Dirty man, you dirty man.
Leave the people beneath them alone.
Leave them, dirty man. You know it's wrong.
So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace, man.
Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man.
Good morning.
Who know fi talk up, talk
Hold the line, caller.
up. If you know them things,
Good morning, Kidaki.
Hold the line, caller.
Alright, now we be sound the alarm.
Who know fi talk up, talk up. If you know them things, you're gone.
And if you know I'm not saying a thing, you answer than the dirty man. You dirty man.
Leave the people beneath them alone.
Me a beg you no leave them, leave them.
They got some dirty women too. And so don't tell yourself that
morning,
rape and
Kidaki.
sexual grooming is only a thing of men. But they got some dirty women too. Call her life.
Good morning, Kidaki. Good morning, viewers. My contribution this morning. I would like someone to tell me with that detailed statement that that child took time to write. Are you going to deny that she was not raped? You can be 20, 21 and you're being raped. Because if you're not in for it, you're being raped. And that child gave a detailed statement. Y'all talk to me this morning. Talk to me this morning. You know why I'm hurt? I'm having a 15-year-old granddaughter who doesn't as a father, never see a father because he was snuffed out before she was born. And I'm having a 12-year-old granddaughter. You know why I'm hurt? Our mother is in consort with Priya and all of them for money. Who knows? If when this child, DHARAMLALL, the dirty man, say that he will sponsor her, they weren't taking money from him. Let's be conscious. Let's be conscious. Poverty is a crime, but you can still keep your dignity. Now, those parents or mother and father I'm addressing now, would you like your child to take our life for 10 million or 10,000 or how much dollars? Come on, let's be real. Let's be real parents.
I am telling you, you know why I go out for my two granddaughter? I know the second one, she father ain't gonna play. She father ain't gonna play. But I would take my heart out for the big one. You know why? She never know who named father. She never see a father because his life was snuffed out while doing his job at that Shirima crossing. I'm not playing with my grandchildren, whether it be granddaughter or grandson. I'm not going for that. I'd rather die for them. Let's be real people. That's my contribution this morning. My heart hurting for that little child. My heart is hurting. Thank you, and you have a great day.
Thank you for your call. Call it live.
Hello.
Call it live.
Good morning, Kadan. Where to start? Number one, this is reason for the country being locked down. 1. 2, these fellas don't do these things alone. These fellas got groupie, and it's many more of them in the circle of doing it. 3, a lot of these girls that have survived from that dorm fire should be questioned nicely to find out his, if he normally go around there and mingle around there. Right? 4, where are the men in the society to take the lead? There's some societies where these men come out and physically protect these little girls, because that is needed. We know when people of power and people of money, what they do, and these girls need to be protected until these guys have been cast away wherever they're supposed to go, on some island with people like them that is surrounded by sharks and gators. It is sickening. It is sickening, and I'm scared. I am so scared that this will be pushed under the rug. But it's time men come out and stand up for these women. We all got nieces, we got daughters, we got cousins, that this could be preyed on. And lastly, Mr. President, you just got a daughter. You just got a daughter. All right? Do right by her. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Until these things affect some of them, they will never understand. They will never understand. Lines remain open. Call it live. Call it live.
Yes, good morning, happy Monday to you and my black brothers and sisters. This is Flash Garden, another one by the dust. I must mention his name, one of my great leaders, Forbes Bonham. PNC party is the only party who used to protect the Amerindian people them. But 2020 election, Jagdio went there and tell them, if I vote for PNC in, they'll rape your daughter and kill your people out. You see, God does allow certain things to happen. Let our eyes opened. That is what happening today. Let me move on. What I want to say this morning to my black brothers and sisters. Come next election, because Flash Garden did it. Those who have green cards, I'm talking those who out of Guyana, my black brother and sister. Those who have green card, you all could come, return back home and vote. You all could start saving your money now for your plane ticket for going back and vote. And just watch and make it come clean. And if you all want better for Guyanese that live in Guyana, they need your help with that. Because if they could put them wicked jagabat in office with dead vote and spile vote, we could put Abi Nathan in office, a black man with overseas vote. I'm going home, but I cannot vote my black brother and sister. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home, rent car in my village and bus, and take all senior citizens to the polling for vote. We just talk and talk and call and talk and talk. Let me see you guys put the y'all money where y'all mouth at. It is more important for the next election coming up, because this is going to continue if we don't give us support home in Guyana. I used to go home and support the last bit. What do you think they're doing in Guyana? I went to the big rally with Desmond Prasad, and who introduced him on the stage was the same wicked boy, Polori Joe. He was PNC first before he got to PPP. But what Flash God is saying this morning to my black brother and sister who live outside of Guyana, go home and vote the next election if you all want better for Guyanese and better for especially black people. I do not need you guys' help, assistance. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for your call. I have some voice notes. Call you live. Call you live.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Hey, my brother. Blessed morning. Let me tell you, the PPP is get a certain nasty women inside the day for ministers. This is why you see politics is got to come in to certain things. When issues like this, you just got to bring in politics. I sure and I know that if the coalition was government and something like that happen, none of them sisters would keep in the cool. None of them. All of them would condemn and condemn to the fullest.
Carlo.
To the fullest. These women.
Carlo, me be very honest with you. I'm not swear for nobody, you know.
Me not ask you for swear.
All right.
Me give me opinion. Me not ask you for swear. Let me talk. Yes. Let me give you a flash guard. Me telling you, these women here, these women in the PPP, the lawless, the mind bad, the mind is he can help guide them. So you mean for tell me, my brother, something like that happen? Look, the amount of things were happening to young girls, young women, and them thing. Prayer, since you shape up, prayer, go and punch your thing for text and talk and this and that, and them kind of things. Send them a set of sarcastics and all kind of thing. Punch your text in, and so these things are happening to these people. Look, Vindio, a big holy woman, a woman as they call it, a woman of the cloth, religious woman. The daughter don't say nothing. These daughter mind nasty, them themselves nasty, skin nasty, the mind nasty, the face nasty. I tell you, kill to share all of them inside of there. Onage Waljon, them, the mind dirty inside of there. None of them, my brother, can say nothing inside of there. Because the big hen parrot. They got to ask he first. We know everything. We know all the maths in Guyana. We know everything but chick. We know everything about Isle. He know everything, the big hen parrot. So none of them can say nothing. There's what a shame on these women with the PPP by. What a shame on these daughters them. I show you what these daughters say, but they're going in front of people cheering and things for talk. I show you. It's sad in this country, by them people got this country stink, and then they got some followers, some supporters who don't mean for be balanced. They love these people. These people must be loved to the faults. What they got? Them trolls. You got to call a spade sometime. Look what the girl write and put down there And people still come and condemn and talking and set to chauvinist and them thing. What a shame on them sisters in the PPP, right? What a shame on them. When you watch Darlal face, you see a menace, you see a racist, you see a killer. You see a mercenary in Darlal where you watch they're allowing the man to go out with them kind of thing and they'll say a word from the time the man tell you that she want a dildo and them kind of thing. And they silent, you know, nasty PPP, nasty brother. But you know, here with that, here's my last. I send a little cautious voice. Move out the way. Allow PPP to fall by themselves. And this is what I'm to them don't fall like a ripe soursop, not a bunks. They're not going to bunks, like a ripe soursop. Yeah. Just like how they expect in local government election and where they clean up then they would have gone into a snap election. They won't get a harder fall than the. And I hope they listening and people could tag them nasty and stink. Must get the founder for the party rolling in the grave, as we say. Rolling in grave. You ever saw it? OV part. That's why you keep away. Oh, nasty. Look at the Dragon PPP. Big dirty self, all of them dirty face, Prion and Vindio. Them. Have a good day, my brother. Blessed.
Thank you, caller. You know, this caller when he called DHARAMLALL a racist. You know, they said the son like so, you know. The son like so. It is alleged by a university colleague of this alleged rapist that while they were in class together, the worst thing you could do is tell that man that his sister has a relationship with a black man. That's the worst you could have done to him. Those who were in the class can tell you the reactions you used to get. So I think they call it in the hit and something there just now when he say racist. His behavior in parliament. These guys see themselves as superior not only to ethnic groups but to sex also. They tell themselves that they're the best thing God has ever given woman, and so they could treat them anyhow. But when the boots is on the other foot, they react differently. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning. Kodaki.
Yes, caller.
Yeah, good morning. All right. The PPP went in power for the last 26 years. They spent 23 years inside power there. At least every Guyanese, if they have a common sense, they should know who the PPP is. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrorist organization. They don't give a damn about nobody. Anybody in the party that back them, they would always be for the person. Once the person don't intervene with their money, they don't care what the person do, they will always back them. How much PPP members disfigure woman and do all kind of thing? The last one was one of them beat up a woman and what do? Put it on a plane and they send it back to America. Nothing don't come out of the story. You go in the jungle and you investigate about DHARAMLALL, you will hear how much the situation that he there, you know, how much he done figure out and done went in already. But just these people is quiet people, they keep them out shut. There's a lot of people that they're in there and the gun would kill them if they only open them up. This little girl, you gotta give she credit for the bravery that she do. And it's in a situation that we she do, she done give up already, she make up her mind for die. You know what I'm saying? So they always have to keep a close eye on she before she commits suicide. Because it's hard for a little girl go against a government like that. You see? So when she do something like that, you don't know she give up already and she don't care what happened to she. You know what I'm saying? So you always gotta keep a close eye on she. This lesson now, it come down to the opposition. Guyana have a weak opposition. Guyana have a weak and uneducated and dependent society, right? And once you got somebody like that, the most people that have the money is the private sector, and there is a part of the government. So therefore, you need somebody to represent the mass. And who's going to be representing the mass? The opposition. And if you got a weak opposition, you will always get these sort of situation that's going on in Guyana. And it will never stop. It will more get overbearing and overbearing because why? It's the only people could able to come and put the government in a place is a good opposition. And if you got somebody like Arbinat who sit down and hold a press conference every minute and he don't even know what to say, all he doing is rolling up here like a girl, twisting up here around. Arbinat is a man, don't behave like that. Arbinat is a mass polygon, he's going ignorant and behave terrible. When you see Arbinat and talk like a little girl now, he got to sit down and know what he's saying, he got to hold the players, he own people them. But attacking me, because they realize he's weak. When you hear Garnish Money, Paul, and these many could come out and say, well, you know what? We don't have time with this banner. This banner is a joker. You should never know. Arbinat can't take Guyana nowhere. He's a weak soul. He's afraid. These are terrorists we're dealing with. We need people to stand up to these people. And who in the PPP, only the PNC could do that? I don't see nobody, but the most I could do is call CC a man because he have a grievance against them is the man of Christopher Jones. He's the only man I think maybe for go share water them. But when it comes to money, all them take a money and keep down shots. Nobody really I seen able could ever do nothing there. For somebody come be a part of good opposition there, I think you got to get forced from out the country. Somebody within another country who understand what politics is and who understand is a dead, a do or die situation. That's the only person with that emphasis will come to Guyana and stand up for the poor people there in Guyana. Guyana is a territory, is an educated country, educated society, a dependable society. Who do you think is going to represent them? The private sector is the only people who come on their side, and the private sector is not on their side. They're on the government side. You see, so that's the only thing. You watch this one woman, they're going to go against a woman. This is something that is killing me. The people them and the news, there was no news media there. There's a bunch of jokers there looking for a dollar. They got this woman called Calixin. Everybody want to blame me.
Caller!
Calixin is not a
Caller! Hot topic.
Yeah. Hot topic?
Yeah, don't carry all over. We talking about rape.
No, me can't. But no, but the people, the society have to get
Caller!
the society is not getting.
We got your point. Thank you for your call. We got your point. We got your point.
Hey, boss.
You can't carry all over this, man. I ain't taking no. I ain't up on though. Stay focused. Call it life.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Like the Senio. Like the Seni. Anyhow, I'm saying that this incident that occurred with this rape, right? What is the international community saying or doing about this? In the US, if somebody does something like that, they label them as a sexual predator, right? And like they are not supposed to be around any school or nowhere near where children are, right? So what are they doing and saying about this? You know what I mean? They have gone mum and silent. And I think that this thing has to go so far that it has to reach the international like UN and so on. It has to reach there, right? To get some sort of, representation for this girl. So I think it has to go far. Next thing is that these things that are going on here are a distraction from the issue of the rigging of the local government elections. So we have to watch out for that. We take a side to represent this girl on a rape, and the next thing we need to watch out for these people at GECOM, because whilst we are engaged in doing this, they would hustle to do certain things, like in Bartica, how they're trying to take the elections there, and in Madhya and Pleasance and those places. We still have to watch out for them. That's my take this morning. Thank you very much.
Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Caller live, good morning.
Morning, Kadaki. Morning to listeners and viewers. Kadaki, I would like to touch on a few points this morning.
What's it sticks with the topic?
I would like to come in defense of the victim first. First and foremost, I come in defense of the victim. The girl, her parents, the girl and her parents. Now, people saying, oh, the parents sell out the child. But we don't know. This man is evil. He's a predator. He's a sex offender. He knew how to go wrong things. He put pressure on that child. He put pressure on the parents too. Not only the child, he pressured the parents to anything he want, he was going after. He don't care how we get it. I read the report that you say is 19 page. I read 16. And she mentioned inside where he also used his driver. He used his driver to forget certain things, push around the girl and all these kind of things, man. I come in defense of the victim. Now, secondly, sleeping hotel. I appeal to the international community, all the people in the diaspora that come home to Guyana and go to this hotel. I asking you people to boycott this hotel. This is where all the sex offender, the predator, where they carry the little children in that place and prey on them. The girl mentioned that hotel in our report. Boycott that hotel. There's no good coming out of that place. That establishment stink and dirty. Thirdly, the international community. These embassies around Guyana, these PAHO, Pan American Health Organization on Breakdown, IMO, International Organization for Migration, all these people in that country, and all of them just keep their mouth shut at the moment. Why is that? Are they part and parcels of what's going on in Guyana? Are they predators too? Are they preying on little girls around that country too? Because you're in their country, you're going to America, you're going to Canada, you're going to Britain, you're going to Europe, and things like what DHARAMLALL doing here, man, they throw the book at you and throw you in prison. Why they sitting down in Guyana and allowing these things to happen? Want to know. Thirdly and finally, this young lady, this 60-year-old child, and get emotional now. I'm feeling the pain. My heart is bleeding. That bastard sodomized that child, bro. He sodomized that child. Eh? The child brave. The child show a lot of gumption. Come forward, yo. Come forward against this cabal and make it known to the public. That's bravery. That's a lot of bravery. She should get a medal for that shit. And all the others victim out there, not only he, it's a pandemic that hitting Guyana. These people raping these little girl child around the country. They must come forward, and I think with the place for them to go is to the American embassy. Go to the American, don't go to no police, don't go to no minister, go to the embassy, American embassy. Right, if you can't go, write in, make a complaint, put the names of these people who abusing you guys. Write in and complain. The PPP stand for Predator Pedophilia Party. A set up in that party. From Jagdio right down. From Jagdio right down. Because if you Jagdio can't come out and said what DHARAMLALL did is wrong and come out and hold a press conference and say what he did is wrong, you're part of it. Priya Chan and all the females in the party, y'all keep your mouth shut, y'all are part of it. But it's just twine. Wrong. Thank you, Kadaki.
Thank you, caller. Miranda Brown. I got a question for you. Is it the first time you're hearing of sexual misconduct allegations against DHARAMLALL? Miranda Brown? Do you believe, Miranda Brown, do you believe that anyone in government who these allegations have been made against on one occasion, more than one occasion, should be kept on the public service payroll or should be in government? Let me be specific. Do you think so? Caller there?
Yeah, I'm here. One last caller.
Hold the line, caller. Hold the line, please. I'm trying to get you. Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Ready?
Yes, caller, you're live.
Yeah, that last caller, that gentleman, he pulled my heartstrings right there, right? That there would make anybody cry. But I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna tell. I told. You know what? Guyanese people don't listen. I will repeat. You guys have to go in front of the American embassy. You know that Maria fire? That is very suspicious. Was these guys meddling with these little children? And because of evidence these children have, they decide, look, you gotta look at this thing. These guys are not right. You guys gotta dig deep. And for you to get some kind of response, I am telling you, go in front of the American embassy. The FBI has to get involved. These are a lot of kids that died. Was these children being tampered with? You guys gotta look at that. I'm telling you, it's very suspicious. All right? That's my contribution. Look at the kids in Mario. Why did that?
Thank you for your call. Call A Live.
Yeah, bless good day morning, Mr. Kadaki, and to the rest of the Guyanese nation. Mr. Kadaki, this thing is not only heart-wrenching, this thing is life-wrenching and generational wrenching. What is PPP government and minister they are doing? They are casting a complete course on this entire nation that we can't get up generation after generation. I am calling upon the righteous-minded Guyanese and the righteous-minded people throughout the whole universe who can hear my voice. Let's stand up for righteousness. This is kingdom war going on, wickedness against righteousness and righteousness against wickedness. It is amazing. And Mr. DHARAMLALL, you should be ashamed of your damn self. DHARAMLALL really suit you because you should be ashamed of your damn self. Now, let me tell you something. Let me be honest. And I'm saying this message directly to the president and all the rest of the ministers and the people in Guyana, out of Guyana. You, Mr. DHARAMLALL, you got to praise God, and that child is not no relative of mine. Because I personally would have made it my duty to hunt you down personally. And after saying this, I am hurting so much, but I restrain myself beyond that. You know why? Because Mr. DHARAMLALL is a disgrace as a minister. And I am saying all the PPP and everybody in and out who support this act is also cursed and bring a curse for this nation. Guyanese righteous mind and those who call themselves pastors, deacons, and elders and who they're in the church with a silency, get y'all tail out of the church for God's sake.
come out. How long would you stand up and allow wickedness to prevail over righteousness and claim to be a child of God or a children of God? You cannot live that, because Christ never stand for nothing like that. Christ will stand up against those things. So if you call yourself children of God or a child of Christ, or sometimes but the church there mostly, and the other religious body, yeah, good for, but I know about church, so I'm speaking in that formation. Get out pastors, get out deacon, the assemblyism, everything, make it known in the church, make it known everywhere that this wickedness must not be condoled over the citizen and the nation of Guyana. Guyana have a blessed day. We're going to get there by the grace of God if we work against wickedness and condemn the damn evil that the ministers are doing. PPP, it's time for people possessive party or people possessing people. It needs to stop, and they're condoling each other. The reason why they're condoling each other, because they're frightened that when one get caught up, it's like all get caught up. A chain is as strong as the weakest link, and if one link only busts, the whole chain collapse. That is what all of them frightened. But it's going to happen because God ain't gonna allow wickedness to prevail in Guyana. Guyana is a blessed place, and Guyanese are a blessed nation. Have a blessed day, Mr. Kodaki. God bless you, Mark Benstock, and all y'all there doing this thing. God bless you. Opposition leader, get up, y'all. Get up, y'all, behind, and get up there, Mr. I know what you're doing, but you gotta go far beyond that. Have a blessed day, Mr. Nigel London. God bless you. Continue, my brother. Continue. Of God, really getting this on.
What's going on, man? Caller live. Caller, you are live.
Good morning, my dear brother Kadaki. Blessings to you and all of your listeners this morning. I just want to give my voice to the conversation about the victim. What I would like to say is that Guyana, first of all, is a very sick country, and Guyana needs healing. Secondly, I must say that it is very imperative that while we pay rapt attention as we should against a sitting minister who has, with all of his power, he has victimized, allegedly, because, you are innocent until proven guilty. A child has come forward. There has been multiple allegations about Mr. DHARAMLALL's conduct while in office, and I would imagine that this started even before he was in office, but certainly having access to power, that he has been able to use his power in a way that he now has been accused of abusing or molesting or raping a child, a young lady. I would definitely say that it is very important that while we, and I want to be able to credit my brothers and sisters this morning for sounding their voices and calling out and using their voices in a way to call out an alleged predator. But it is also equally important for us to continue to equally maintain that level of advocacy for the victim. If the Guyana government is serious about advocacy, and this morning I want to be able to address the President Ali. I know he spoke about and he gave the statement regarding, DHARAMLALL's going to him and submitting him to recuse himself, and he wants to go and leave and all of those things. But if the government is serious and the government wants to demonstrate a level of impartiality and accountability in this matter on behalf of citizens, and I'm not talking about its minister, I'm speaking about the citizens of Guyana. The government will protect that young lady, advocate for that young lady, as well as protect our family. If the government wants to put its money and its weight of power where its mouth is, Let the government show the citizens of Guyana that they are serious, they take this matter seriously, and they would, at all costs, protect that young lady and her family. And what does that look like? Absolute and immediate advocacy for that young lady, that she must have intense trauma counseling, that our family must not be compromised, our family must not be harassed, our family must be in a safe environment. And it should also be that perhaps they are leaving the shores of Guyana, because based on what we know about the government and its operations and its dealings, that I would be inclined to say that the family of this young lady is not safe, including the victim. So give the victim the resources so that they can be in a safe place, so that this victim can speak unequivocally about her victimization, and she can name and be able to state without being muzzled what has occurred and what DHARAMLALL has used its power to do to her based on the allegations that she has brought forward. If the government is serious, the government will protect this family at all costs. And we must stop saying, and we must stop echoing that there is a civil society in Guyana, because there's nothing civil about Guyana right now. We need to stop saying that there is an element of civil society. Guyana is an uncivilized country, because in a true civilized country, when something like this occurs, what usually happens? There is due process under the law. While Mr. DHARAMLALL may have rights and he may be claimed innocent until proven guilty, he would have been removed with immediate effect from a position like a member of parliament. He would have been arrested if there were enough to be able to say that based on the investigation, and then he would have his day in court. And based on what we are seeing, because we must pay attention to what we're seeing and what we're also not seeing. We are not seeing the police department in Guyana doing at least an investigation. Maybe they're doing it privately. I don't know, but based on what we have seen so far, there has been at least not an objective due process that in a normal civilized society you would see the police going in, investigating the matter. Mr. DHARAMLALL, not even a Mr. DHARAMLALL would have been removed from his position, because that is a position serving the people, and he has deeply compromised that position. And then there would have been protection for the victim. And so until those things are met and they are achieved, none of us should say that there is a civil element of society. Guyana is a very uncivilized society. Guyana is an unsafe place. Guyana is a failed state. And until this government does not show a level, a modicum, a level of true accountability for its people, not the Indian people, because I understand that the government, it seems like the only people they represent are Indian people. I also would like to see if there is a civil society that even Indian brothers and sisters on the opposition side will come out and be able to rebuke and to say what has occurred is wrong. And when we get silence, we understand that this is not an occurrence. When the other side is silent, and I'm speaking about Indian citizens, we understand that this is even beyond an incident. What it tells us, perhaps, this is a culture that has been ingrained in a community, allegedly, that this is acceptable, because in a normal civil society, both the opposition and the folks in government and its citizens will come out and they would denounce and renounce such actions by a sitting minister. And so this morning I will say, shame on DHARAMLALL, and shame on the president, and shame on the government for allowing for the actions that they've taken so far, because action tells us everything. Not the actions that they've taken, but their inactions have told us everything. But continue, folks. Get out there this morning and fight. Get out there and protest. This should not be a one-time protest. Y'all need to be protesting in front of the government, protesting in front of the office of Congress or whatever we call it in Guyana, and continue to be boots on the ground. We can't have a society where individuals of power uses their power to abuse its citizen. We are sinking and we have sunk into a place that is unrecognizable. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you, caller.
Good morning, Kulaki. Is there no way around this $10 million? There must be a way around this $10 million. Does it mean that if you kill someone and you throw $10 million at the family, you walk? No. No. You got to be a way. I mean, Norman Brown was right yesterday on Mark's show when he says that the APNU have a lot of lawyers, and I know these lawyers should have been there as all as possible to get this girl and get more evidence from her. At the early stage. So I don't know if there can be a way or many ways around the $10 million. And this man has to go down. You understand me? If you catch a bull by the horn or by the hind leg or something, you got to make sure you take it down to prevent it from getting back into the public to destroy people's children. Bye.
Thank you for that voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Kidaki. You know what? Irfan is going to go down as the worst president in history. And if he has some kind of dignity or pride, he will try to save his name. Now let me say this. All of them knew what went on with that girl, what DHARAMLALL was doing all along. It is no secret. The smallest child can see that, and that is it. It is nobody making up anything there. That girl went through a lot. And those people have children or family, and they will meet it. You understand? And they will meet it when they least expect it, they're going to have it. Okay? Because that is wrong. Don't care how you put it, it is totally wrong and out of place. DHARAMLALL should not be out of jail. He should have been locked up. Little things. They are locking up our people for our African people for. And because he is a government minister, he cannot be locked up. He is above the law. Well, I am waiting to see what will come out of this. They swept so many things under the carpet because they are very wicked. Priya Manichan, she has children too. She should be ashamed of herself. She was one of the people alling for rape in Parliament, and nobody didn't even rape she. But she expected this little girl to turn now and take money for what he did to her. Well, I am looking to see what will happen about this particular matter. Whatever else went down, it went down. But this particular matter, all eyes are on them. You understand? And they will have to pay. Justice must prevail for this little child. Look at them. Look at those people. And they want to be running country. Running which country? With the mindset and them dirty things that they're doing to people's children. And then sweeping it under the carpet. And nobody wants to say anything. Who are they? They are working for us. It's taxpayers' money they're using. They come to this government with a set of money. Whoever had it want to steal in the past. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you for that voice note. The phone is currently off. I may turn it on back just now, but I need to play the voice notes.
Hey, Brother Kadaki, I'm not there to tell. Nobody can tell me that prayer and involved in paying them people the money. Prayer being there. Nobody can tell me that prayer and go there and talk money to the girl. Oh, this is nasty. I tell you, boy. It real sad, yeah. It real sad. It real sad in this country. Real sad under these people.
Good morning, Kadakian listeners. I think somebody in Guyana, some group in Guyana is supposed to take this thing to the international criminal court. That's the only way we might get some justice. And I'll cheer them, the president, DHARAMLALL, and Priyamani Chan supposed to be able to answer the charges and answer the charges for the 2 last dormitory fires too. The next thing, the people should be protesting for the International Criminal Court to come and collect them, betray them.
Michael George, I have a question for you, man.
The next thing, the people should be protesting.
Michael George, I'm no liar, but I want to know what part of the law said that you could have arbitration and pay for rape. I'm not sure y'all educate me, but I ain't trusting Michael George words. Please and thanks, talk to me. What part of the laws of Guyana say that, people could just take money and rape could disappear? In other words, it's not rape, it's fair picking. It's fair picking against the law too. Let me talk about that. We can talk about all these things. That's my question though, for Michael.
Good morning. When Irfan Ali just become president, people say give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see, they say you're going to be worse than Jack Dale. But people say give him the benefit of the doubt. Irfan Ali going on as the worst president of Guyana. Imagine a situation like this. You have a president who's supposed to be responsible to protect women, children, and so on. And after such an allegation level against DHARAMLALL, the nation is crying out to him to send the minister on leave until he facilitates a proper investigation. The president refused to do so. It got to a point where DHARAMLALL had to write to him, and he had the audacity to tell us that DHARAMLALL write to him to tell him that he want to go on leave. It means that if DHARAMLALL never write him to say he want to go on leave, it means that the man will still be in public office. And it's the same government in the One Circle Guyana who charge Lowenfield for misconduct, who charge Mingo for misconduct, charge Jordan for misconduct in public office. Is the same one Guyana, is the same One Circle Guyana government. So I don't understand how a president that is in his right sense of mind, you have to wait until the person asks you to go on leave. The analyst telling Irfan Ali, as the president, you don't know what you are doing. As the president in charge, you're not taking the step you're supposed to take. Why? You don't see everybody's begging for you to send me on leave. Now I have, you're not going to pick up the matter, so now I have to come and ask you to send me on leave. That is to show how Irfan Ali have failed this nation. You have failed our girls. You have failed to protect our women.
You know, tell y'all something, but y'all don't believe me, Y'all don't believe me. There are some people in the PPP who runs their government. Note what I said. There are some people in the PPP who run their government. The PPP has agreed among themselves to chop up Guyana. And each one of them going to take a part and do what they like. DHARAMLALL is like the president for the Amerindian communities. He does what he likes. Y'all see Anil running around as the minister of land. Y'all don't recognize these things? Jack Dio is the oil man. There's strict division of labor in the PPP, like it or not. Everybody does as they like. That dunce man at the top, there's only a figurehead. And that is all what he will be, a figurehead. He doesn't give instructions. He awaits instructions. Tell him I say that. Voice note.
Hey kid, good morning, how are you? I hope everything is fine with you, by the grace of God. Anyway, my contribution today is, where is Priya Manichan and Vindi Prasad? And also, Gail Tashiro. Why are these women getting involved in this young lady's situation? Why aren't they voicing any opinion about this young lady's situation? And DHARAMLALL, why isn't he off the bench? Why isn't he resigned as yet or retired? I think he should be in jail because rape is a serious thing, and especially when the girl is underage. Now, my other contribution and my other concern is why these elder people that got caught with drugs in the airport, which was one of the minister's niece. She's an old grown woman and she is going for psychiatric evaluation. So what happened to this young lady, this little child? She shouldn't get psychiatric evaluation to kid. You think that is right? I think that this child needs psychiatric evaluation as well because she is a minor, she's underage. She deserves that, and that's what is most important for this child's benefit right now, psychiatric evaluation. And these old hardback people that had lived their life and they are doing this stuff every day.
Good morning, Kadaki. You know, I don't understand why our people feel that America is the end-all be-all. America has its own issues. America sees and knows everything that is going on in Guyana. The people at the embassy are seeing. We have to fight our battles. My concern is if the parent accept money to hush their daughter. This is to the point of extortion. Where are we going from here? That's my contribution. Thanks.
Thank you for that voice note. To tell you all, it's 9:30 now. I gotta go. I can't keep it going all the time. I'm sorry for those voice notes that I couldn't play. I'm sorry for those calls that I couldn't take. But I think the word is out there. Continue to share the program. Tomorrow we can continue this discussion. Let's see what unfolds today. Right? I must tell you, I have 195 missed calls in my phone. Good? So if you sent a voice note and yours didn't get play, understand that there are 195 missed calls in my phone, along with several other voice notes that I couldn't get played and so on. But of course, time is not infinite. There must come a time when the program will come to an end. I went half hour into extra time, if you call it that. Right? Let us keep our eyes on this matter. There's a protest somewhere in Georgetown today. I think it should start around 10 o'clock. To call for DHARAMLALL to be removed from office. Well, as we know, he is on leave, but being on leave doesn't mean removal from office. Administrative leave especially, he's still being paid. He's still being paid. We must have DHARAMLALL removed from anywhere close to our government. As a matter of fact, once the allegations could be proven, let me go back there. Whether these allegations are proven or not, it is my firm belief that DHARAMLALL should be nowhere close to government, nowhere close to positions of authority, nowhere close to young females, especially. Proven or not, because there's several of these allegations. Miranda Brown says that she is aware that there are more than one. There have been more than one. I don't want to go into the other red herrings that she put in her answer. I asked her a specific question. Are you aware of how many allegations were made against Nigel DHARAMLALL? She has accepted that there has been more than one. The second part of the question was whether or not she believes that somebody like that should be in government. Good, but I've made my case, my position known. DHARAMLALL has no place close to government. He has no place close to children. Allegations proven or not, he should not be in government. Good. And I'm making a call because I'm very serious. I am sure DHARAMLALL worked under the previous PPP administration in the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. Not as minister then, but as permanent secretary, I think. And since back then, I've heard allegations against him. And so I'm saying that people should come forward from since back then. As long as they were so interfered with, then those allegations should be made known. Those facts should be made known. It is how a lot of people, what the Bernsteins and all of them, I think is the name in the US and so on, that domino effect. A lot of celebrities in the US came tumbling down. Because once the allegation was made against one, other people started coming forward and identifying their abusers. We need something like that to happen in this country. A lot of our politicians will duck for cover. A lot of our men and women in cloth will duck for cover. A lot of people masquerading as towers of virtue will duck for cover. But let the cleansing begin now. Because I want to say this to you. With oil money in this society, if we don't tackle it now, it will get 100 times worse. It will get 100 times worse. I guarantee that. I've said to you on many programs before, there are people in the PPP government who are involved in sex trafficking to Suriname. There are people in this government who are involved in sex trafficking right here at some of the so-called international hotels and casinos. And when oil money comes, and international investors come, and foreign currency comes, I can tell you, it's not a society you will recognize unless we deal with it now. I'm leaving with Tisha and Roman Vorgo. Dirty man. Dirty man. And dirty woman. Y'all must leave our children them alone.
Say no make them take advantage of you. Nah, 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 yeah. Young girl wanna school, yeah. No follow nobody. Cause that man where call you sexy could be twice your daddy. Man, no time of like greater. Plus the mama don't have it. Please me I beg you to make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, you dirty man. Leave the people beneath them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste no make them take advantage of you. Nah, 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 yeah. Young girl wanna school, yeah. No follow nobody. Cause that man will call you sexy could be twice your daddy. Man, no time you fly greater. Plus your mama don't have it. Please me, I beg you, no make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, you dirty man. Leave the people beneath them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man.
Just a waste man, oh yeah.
Hey, mommy, if you listen to your daughter, when she tell her she not happy, you see the signs and turn a blind eye. Me, I beg you to stop it. Cause that man where you have a come check you when you let him tell a story. You left a young girl all alone. Not take your daughter, sell out to no dirty man. You dirty man. Leave the people beneath them alone.
Leave them, you dirty man.
You know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace, man.
Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man. Who no fit talk up, talk up. If you no know that.